AFCON 2027 is
Thank you so much. And like I said, this General Assembly will be colored a lot with the celebrating 100 years, so don't get tired of the different videos and messages. They will also continue throughout the year. The message is that this is the beginning of the celebrations of 100 years. We'll spend the whole year celebrating. We'll even celebrate in the various regions when we come by. But at this moment, allow me also to ask for the message from the FIFA president, Mr. Gianni Infantino, that he has asked Mr. Solomon Mudegi to deliver. At this moment, we will play the video, and after the video, we'll definitely pass on the microphone to Solomon to proceed with the message that he has carried along with him. Can we have the video of the FIFA president congratulating us over the 100 years achievement?
Gogo, dear friends and colleagues from the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, congratulations to all of you for 100 years of existence. The centenary of the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, well, what an incredible milestone. I had the great pleasure of visiting your country in the past years, and I witnessed firsthand the great talent and passion of the players and of all the people. I have also seen how hard Uganda has worked to make football more accessible for young people across the whole nation, and I commend the Federation for working with FIFA on the launch of FIFA football for schools in the country earlier this year. Education is vitally important for any nation's development, especially when the country has one of the youngest populations in the world, as Uganda does. FIFA Football for Schools will help with this mission, using the power of football to teach important values to young girls and boys and investing in Uganda's future. And this program, combined with the many projects linked with FIFA Forward, will help develop future national team players and contribute to the health of everyone touched by football in Ugandan society. I hope it will also play its role in making the next generation of Ugandan legends, like those who reached the final of the Africa Cup of Nations in 1978, or more recently the Cranes that participate in the 2017 and 19 editions of the tournament. On the women's side too, the future is bright, as proven by the participation of the Crested Cranes in the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Dear friends, I'm sure that your hard work, forward thinking and determination will help shape and guide the future of Ugandan football in the best possible way, not just for the upcoming years, but for the next 100 years at least. I wish you the very best of luck with today's annual General Assembly. Enjoy reflecting on all the achievements of this special milestone, and I'm looking forward to seeing you very, very soon. Thank you, dear President Moses Magogo. Thank you all. Take care, and all the very best to you. Bye-bye.
Let us give another round of applause for the FIFA president. And at this time, let us pass on the microphone to Mr. Solomon to deliver the message he has carried from FIFA.
Thank you, President. I think I do not have anything further to add to the words of the FIFA President. He has sent us here to represent him and to hand over a pennant and a historic football, which I'd like to hand over to you. On behalf of President Gianni Infantino, I'd like to hand this over to you as a commemoration of our celebration with Fufa on your 100 years centenary. Thank you very much. And this ball, don't think you've got your new ball now, the Janzi. So this is an historic ball also commemorating the event with Fufa as well as FIFA to mark our commitment and our shared desire to advance football and to make the ball roll in Uganda. Thank you. Thank you.
Are we okay? Are we? Will be given a chance to say something.
Thank you so much, Solomon. Thank you so much, President Gianni Infantino, for always being and standing with Uganda. We're really, really very proud. And on behalf of the Uganda football fraternity, Fufa will always support FIFA in order to deliver the mission of football becoming truly global. Amid this task, we also do have Dr. Aza, who has joined us with the chairperson of the Fufa judicial bodies, the Fufa Judicial Commission. Please stand up for recognition, Dr. Aza. At this moment, we have a message also from CAF, and I will ask the microphone to be passed on to Mr. Auka, the General Secretary of SECAFA, who is here on behalf of CAF.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, the delegates of Fufa, for your warm welcome to Uganda. We really appreciate, and for what is very well organized General Assembly. On behalf of the President of SECAFA and on behalf of CAF, I send their really warm greetings to the fraternity of football in Uganda. We continue to really enjoy, as CAF and as SECAFA, a fantastic relationship with Fufa. We have an amazing relationship and partnership. We are always hosting tournaments as SECAFA here and CAF qualifiers. We are always having Uganda sending its teams to all our competitions, both our SECAFA competitions and CAF organized competitions that are carried out in the zone. We believe that this partnership and this cooperation is essential for the growth of football in the region, and we look forward to the continued growth of football in Uganda and also in the region. And again, in a very special way, on behalf of President Wallace Caria and on behalf of CAF, receive our very sincere congratulations on attaining the milestone of 100 years. That is not a mean feat, and I think you deserve a huge round of applause, please. Thank you. We give our commitment to continue working together in the growth of football in the region, and particularly in Uganda. And as President Gianni Infantino has said, to another 100 years, and we hope those who will come after us will sit here one day and celebrate 200 years of football in Uganda. Thank you very much, and have an amazing General Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We also have representation from the Minister of Education and Sports, Mr. Sam Odong, the Assistant Commissioner. Please, we also receive a message from you, a brief one, as a representation from the Minister of Education and Sports. I've been advised, Mr. Odong, that we will play the video of the First Lady first, and then you will speak after, as the procedure has been. So let us have the video of the Minister of Education and Sports, Mr. Ahmed Hussein and team.
This is to congratulate Fufa on attaining 100 years since it was started in Uganda in 1924 during the colonial times. Since that time, the sport of football has grown and become popular in Uganda. Indeed, Uganda once in a while wins some international matches such as the World Cup qualifier against Somalia and the AFCON qualifier against Somalia and Congo-Brazzaville, among others. On the side of government, after the collapse of government and economy between 1971 and 1986, we built the Nambole Stadium using a Chinese government grant, and we have recently refurbished it using government funding. Using the collaboration with the private sector, we have reconstructed Nachivubo Stadium, and we are building a new stadium in Hoima City. I now congratulate Ugandans on taking up the sport of football, as well as other sports such as athletics, cricket, golf, etc. For now, however, I congratulate Fufa at 100 years on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports. We bless the Lord for Uganda's achievements in sports, and we hope to get better as we go forward. I want to thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samodong.
Thank you, President and dear delegates. Briefly, greetings from the Minister of Education and Sports, my Minister, State for Sports, there is an NRM retreat agent, and my Commissioner, Reverend, is on leave, so I'm here to represent the ministry. Now, I will just talk about maybe two things. One is that, as you are aware, the mandate of the ministry, we are in charge of the laws, policies, and guidelines pertaining to this sector of sports. And we're also aware we do have a new sports policy and a new sports law, which was enacted. So we hope this will go a long way in promotion of sports in general and football in particular. Now, we do have partnerships with Fufa, as the FIFA president has said, and Mama has emphasized. You are aware about the school's football program. I sit on that committee, and plans are on how to develop football in schools. The other also, I know AFCON 2027 preparations are in high gear, and and the delegates, we thank you for your cooperation. We are working with Fufa and CS to ensure we deliver AFCON 2027. Now, yesterday, I happened to be called to join a team to visit Kadiba. So as we say, AFCON 2027, these are one of the projects, and we hope it will move. As Fufa has various programs and projects, these projects we should mind the four variables of time, scope, cost, vis-a-vis quality, so that we can grow this industry. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations at 100 for God and my country.
Thank you so much. We'll also have a brief message from the representative of the National Council of Sports.
Thank you, Mr. President, delegates present, and all invited guests. On behalf of the National Council of Sports, I would like to congratulate the Federation of Uganda Football Associations for attaining a birthday of 100 years. It doesn't come easily. As Council, we are charged with the oversight of 51 different sports disciplines. But Fufa stands out because it's a team sport. It's a favorite to a majority of the population and is visible everywhere. So as Council, we want to pledge our commitment and continued collaboration with Fufa to make sure that we grow the sport of football to greater heights. What we only need to see is that to strive in the line of excellence, you must exhibit good governance, accountability, and that is evidence today. Continue with that spirit. It's our game. It's our country. For God and my country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will also take this moment to recognize that Owema Ambassador Mubiru, former Uganda Queens players, has joined us. Please, you can stand up for recognition. Hassan Mubiru, thank you so much. But also, Hakim Magumba, Boda, has also joined us. Thank you so much. Now that the team is full, may I announce that at the end of this General Assembly, there will be a match between not the winners and losers of yesterday, but between the President's 11, which is composed of these ex-internationals who are here, against the Parliament's 11. So Kazora will be a fan this time, not a player. So we will have safety as the game goes on. And that's on the lighter note. Members, please bear with us. Unlike usually, we are a little slow, but we are celebrating 100 years. There are not very many institutions in this country that celebrate 100 years. So the different videos that we are playing, it's in recognition of this message. At this moment, can I ask for the video by the Katikiro of Buganda? Our history with the Buganda Kingdom cannot be overemphasized, so we find it important that we cannot dissociate from it. Let us have the video from the Katikiro of Buganda Kingdom.
Well, it's quite remarkable that football has existed in a formal way. Well, it's quite remarkable that football has existed in a formal way in Uganda for 100 years. It is, again, very heartwarming that the running of football, the formal running of football, started within the Kingdom of Buganda. And it is nice that in these 100 years, football has experienced ups and downs. And as we celebrate the centenary of football, I think there are many positives which give us a lot of hope for the game of football in Uganda, because I think we are moving forward. So I'm very, very pleased to celebrate the 100 years, and I thank you very much for thinking about us.
Thank you so much. And once again, I'm going to ask for your patience, that we're a little slow, but when you're 100 years, you are not very fast also. By that time, you have slowed down. But on my own behalf, and on the behalf of the football fraternity, allow me to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for his support to football, which has been evident, which has been verbal, which has been physical, which has been direct. Can we stand up and give a standing ovation for the President's support to the game of football in this country? At the same moment, on behalf of football, again, I take this moment to thank and appreciate the support and guidance given by the Minister of Education and Sports, none other than Mama Janet Katawa Museveni, under whose administration there has been tremendous improvement in the support from government. Let us give a round of applause. At the same moment, also let us thank the Minister of State for Sports, Mr. Honorable Peter Gwang, who is supposed to have been with us but has been assigned other duties. We want to thank him and also give him an applause for the support. He's a hands-on, and his hands-on are really delivering for us. The entire cabinet, the entire government apparatus, but most especially also the Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, Right Honorable Anita Among, for the support we have enjoyed from the Parliament of Uganda. We need a round of applause for this support. I will not skip the Deputy Speaker who has been with us, including leading us as a team to go to CAF to bid for the hosting of the Africa Cup of Nations. Right Honorable Thomas Tayeba, thank you so much, and let us also give a round of applause. The honorable members of Parliament who have really supported football, for those who have followed the number of things that needed support, and indeed the Parliament of Uganda has been extremely supportive. Honorable Mpaka, who is a member of Parliament and amongst us, please take back this message on our behalf, that as football we really recognize the support we are getting. I want to appreciate the different stakeholders in their support. Our dear sponsors, MTN Uganda, Finance Trust Bank, Nirvana, Bull or Bidco, Star Times, and many others I may not mention. Please, thank you so much for supporting and financing the game of football. This includes also the sponsors, the various clubs, because at the end of the day, it is support which is coming to the sport of football. I ask the football fraternity that can we support the products and services that are delivered by these particular partners that have identified with us. To be more specific, we have taken a direction that everything to do with women football should be undertaken with the Finance Trust Bank. They are very good products. Let us engage and let us benefit from these products. Our dear fans, the fans of football, for the various clubs from the west to the north, for the different competitions, we want to thank you so much. For the national team, those in Uganda, those in the diaspora, those in South Africa, who made us have a home in South Africa when we played South Africa. Thank you so much, the fans of Ugandan football at all levels, for what you're doing. Without you, we wouldn't have the game. Our gallant players at various levels, right from the districts up to the national team, thank you so much. We wouldn't have a game without you. Coach Stone, you're here on behalf of all the coaches in the country. We appreciate the work they are doing to make sure that we compete. Thank you so much, the coaches. The referees who do the unsung heroes, sometimes who do the job. Please, thank you so much. I saw Rose around. Please, on behalf of the General Assembly and Fufa, take our regards that we appreciate the work done by the referees. The clubs of football in Uganda at all levels again, and I've seen the chairman of the various Uganda Premier League clubs present. I've seen the chairman of the Uganda Premier League board. Please take back our message that as football, we appreciate the work which is being done by the clubs. Without the clubs, we cannot have the national teams. And we'll always work with the Uganda Premier League board to ensure that we deliver the best premium competition, but also with other competitions across the country. Allow me also to thank the various service providers, but also the media. The fourth estate, that without you, we would not be able to communicate what we do to the people who may not have attended the various events. We are enjoying very beautiful goals in the Uganda Premier League and other competitions. And what you do, the photography, the videography, the discussions you have in the different media, the articles you write online and in the conventional print media. Thank you so much. On behalf of football, we believe we can go miles with this support we are getting from you. In a special way, allow me also to recognize government. That government, we have always asked and sung that what we needed was funding. And government has provided the funds, particularly for the national teams, that Uganda is one of the 15 countries in Africa that are participating in every national team competition that comes available. Thank you so much, government, for providing the funds, and I'll ask the representatives of government here to convey this message. They have done for us the law, as you have heard. There's a lot of work going on in infrastructure. Government has invested a lot of money. And for me, this is the game changer. Government is investing a lot of money in infrastructure, particularly targeting football. As we speak, we know that the Hoima Stadium, which is the second international stadium for AFCON, work has begun. At least I've seen the latest pictures. The columns have come out of the ground. And for me, this is historical. This General Assembly, you allowed us as executive to donate our land, which we had bought, with our own resources to government, and government has responded by constructing the stadium in Hoima. I think this is something that we need to be very proud of as Fufa. It is also true that government is investing money in Mandela National Stadium. Now we are playing back at home. I think it's a good feeling. It was totally different hosting matches away from home, but now we are hosting matches in Nambole. There is investment going on in Ichambogo to put a proper pitch. The government has provided resources to support the construction of Kadiba Stadium to make it ready for Chan in February. Government is also providing resources for the different facilities, inclusive of KCCA, football club, stadium, which we call the Filippo Mondi. This is still government, and we are proud that these resources are coming, and we believe that the landscape of sporting infrastructure in the country in the next 5 years is going to change substantially, and we are proud of that. As we are all aware, it has been a longer journey for Fufa. I'm not going to repeat the story. I'm sure that the video that was done in-house, and a round of applause, members, for the Fufa Communications Department that has produced these videos in-house. We have not outsourced. Thank you so much, Hussein and team. But the story has been told. Can we have the communications team stand up for recognition? Wherever you are, Hussein and Joel, and this is an in-house production. Thank you so much. And I also want to inform the members that this particular event is live on Fufa TV as we speak, a channel that is carrying 100% football and local or Ugandan football. Thank you so much, Fufa TV, Sean Mubiru and your team. If you are around, we also recognize you. Thank you for the job you're doing to bring football to all of us. I'm not going to walk through the journey, the video has said, but there are a number of achievements and challenges that we have faced that can only encourage us going forward. I wish to inform the members in my submission that Uganda, as part of the 3 East African countries, has been chosen by CAF to host AFCON 2027. And I'm sure this is not news, but we need to be proud of this achievement, that out of it, the 3 East African governments are investing once again a lot of resources into the sporting facilities. But the most important, that not long ago, the Executive Committee of CAF sat in Nairobi and took a decision that Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania will host CHAN in February 2025. And that's from the 1st of February to the 28th of February. So these things are real. They happened, we dreamed, we thought, some people thought we would not achieve them. Here we are, that in February we will be. And I want to assure the football fraternity that we as Uganda, and I want to speak on behalf of Uganda, we will be ready to do the hosting of CHAN, because what has been required of us is 1 stadium which is ready, 3 training pitches, and that is the one of Mandela outside, which is also almost ready, if you want to say. What is lacking there is only the lights, and those are going to be installed. Then the 2 other training facilities, Chambogo, and I can assure you work is going on. I've seen work going on. The construction of the pitch has started. The lights have been imported, and we believe that that training facility will also be ready. And Kadiba also, works are going on. We believe that by December, the facility will also be ready to act as the training facility. And that's all we need to host CHAN. We believe that by that time we'll be ready to host Africa, in East Africa for the first time, first of all in Uganda for the first time, and then of course later with AFCON in 2027. I also want to speak about football, particularly in the area of governance. The next year is the general elections for the various offices at Fufa, and I want to assure the members that the Fufa has the competence and the integrity to organize credible elections. Those interested in the various positions, please go back to your constituents, go back to the electorate, and seek for the mandate in accordance with the provisions of the statutes and the codes. We will ensure that elections are done properly anytime, as we have always done. There are going to be some statutory amendments when we come to the provisions. Please let us support them, but they are all based at improving and making the game of football better. There's a bit of a challenge with the statutes of our members, but in the next year, we'll make sure that we engage into improving the statutes of our members to suit the times. particularly the clubs, but also the SIGs and then the regional football associations. We will continue with our agenda of meeting the individual members. We have been engaging the clubs in the Uganda Premier League one by one, and we have had very fruitful meetings. We have been through the regions using provinces, and I want to promise that before the year ends, we will meet the clubs in the Fufa Big League, but also the special interest groups, and URA Football Club, the only club that we have not yet met. In the area of development, we will have a moment when we will hear from the people from development, but what we're emphasizing here is the technical master plan in support with the FIFA talent development scheme. Competitions, as you are aware, we have had a challenge of the online registration to get deep to the villages to ensure that all players are registered on the FIFA Connect. I want to assure you that we will work to support and make sure that we are not breaking any provisions, but also we don't stop football from being played. Football must continue to be played. We cannot put in place systems that fail football to be played. Football is the reason why we are here. We will continue with the agenda of preaching community clubs. I want to thank the people of Mbale Heroes, first of all, to come back to the Uganda Premier League after very many years. We are very proud of Mbale Heroes. We are very proud of all the other clubs that are playing, that have come into the Uganda Premier League. But we encourage clubs to take the direction of the community clubs. It is much easier to work as many with the game of numbers other than an individual to finance the clubs. The national teams have taken a different journey. You are all aware. We are participating, competing at all youth levels. Our teams are doing very well on the continent, playing the under-20 finals of Africa, not once, for both the girls and boys. We believe that there is work being done to prepare the younger players for the future generation. In the next few years, we will have a very strong senior national team for men and women according to these plans. On the side of business, as you are aware, we have done the Janzi as our new brand, and we have done the balls. And like I explained before, every time we have a consignment, we have calculated that what would have been a profit margin from this consignment is converted into balls that we are able to give out for free to our members. In the first consignment, which has been sold out, we were able to give out balls up to the clubs, even in the districts. In the second consignment, which has arrived in the country, because of your support, the first consignment was sold out. We have gotten more balls, and as you have already seen, the third vice president, the Uganda Premier League clubs have already been given the balls. It's not going to stop at the Uganda Premier League clubs, but again, we will go up to the district clubs and all clubs in the country. And once these ones are sold, then it means that we will have another consignment and recycle this money and be able to get. So let us support our own products. Let us support the business to ensure that we will always get the balls. We also received 60,000 balls, 66,000 balls to be more specific from FIFA. Solomon, thank you so much. And these are strictly for the football in the schools. And these are size 4 balls. I heard some of you saying, why don't we give them to the clubs? They are strictly size 4 balls, and they're supposed to be used for a specific age bracket in a specific program. But our development program will reach out to you. Please, as delegates, let us make sure that the primary schools that we are targeting are benefiting and utilizing these balls and ensuring that we are working within the program as set by FIFA. There will also be a presentation about infrastructure projects later, so I'm not going to be talking about that. I want to conclude my submission by asking members that we need to grow the social fabric amongst us. This federation has worked very well, that we have not had internal conflicts like we had always had in the past, which would draw back the energy of development. That's why we have achieved whatever we have achieved. It has been because of the support by you, the delegates supporting the executive supporting the president, and then the government supporting the federation. This synergy is what has made us achieve what we have achieved. You cannot have development without peace, and peace is very good when you have love. Let us enjoy the game of football. I'm very sure people have issues in their homes, but when you come to football, you should actually come to be happy, not to come and again find other problems and then go and find other problems when you go back home. Can this be your social breather, where you come to the game of football and enjoy? So let's be friends amongst yourselves. If you visit different parts of the country, let us have a cup of tea. Let us talk about the ideas that we need the executive to implement. And as the administration, I want to assure you that we'll always listen to our members. I want also to conclude once again by again recognizing, since we are in a celebratory mood, that we have Mr. Bisanga Hirale from Maroons Football Club, also Ahmed Stars. Maroons, thank you so much for what you're doing. We have also John Andrew from UPDF with us. Please, you're welcome and thank you for the work you're doing. We also have the chairman of police, those who were at the event in the evening yesterday, the gentleman who was dancing like this in the evening. So I was asking him, why are you dancing like that? And he said he had just come from Chitara with a 1-0 win. So he was feeling like... So Chairman Police Club, Mr. Halong, please stand up for recognition if you are around. No, he danced maybe too much. I hope the celebrations can go into the next match, because the league is a long one. It is just the beginning with a few games to come. We have an apology from NEC Football Club, the chairperson. Yes, we have an apology. This is what I have here from NEC Football Club, and this will be registered. As we conclude, let us also have a video once again congratulating us and wishing us well as football from the Right Honourable Speaker of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda.
On behalf of Parliament of Uganda and on my own behalf, I want to congratulate the football fraternity. I want to congratulate Fufa for achieving its dream within the 100 years. It's a great achievement, and remember that it is out of football, specifically football, that brings all kinds of people together, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the tribe, irrespective of the politics, and whichever. And I want to congratulate you so much.
We will not get tired of these congratulatory messages. We also want some of them from each one of you, because we have a whole year to celebrate. So please record one. And in the current times, you know, I know some of you are TikTokers here. I'm not going to mention the names, but please let us celebrate and enjoy. At this moment, like I mentioned, let us have the video for the activity report as we conclude the item agenda of the President's communication. Let us have the video for the activity report. Thank you so much. We need a motion for adoption of the Fufa activity report as part of our routine. We have the booklet which has already been distributed if you want to go and continue enjoying it, but to become a record that we reference in our governance presentations, we need this to have been approved by the General Assembly. Can we have a motion for the approval of the Fufa activity report? Mr. Chiwanuka, the Chairman, Uganda Youth Football Association.
Thank you so much. My name is Robert Chiwanuka. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the President for this rich report that has been presented to us and for all the beautiful messages that have come through this report celebrating 100 years of Fufa. Dear delegates in this assembly, allow me to move a motion for all of us to accept and approve the President's report 2024.
Do we have seconders? Mr. Walakira from Buganda Regional Football Association.
Walakira Andrew Mukisa, I second the motion.
Mr. Nyao Frank from the Uganda Coaches Association.
Anyao Frank, I second the motion.
Thank you so much. We are going to take a healthy break of Okay, I've been advised that the break, there will not be a break, but there is tea in the back for those who want to pick a cup of tea. Please, you can move to the back. But in the interest of time, I've been advised that we will proceed. But I wanted to recognize the chairman of Police Football Club. The man who was dancing with his hands up yesterday like this has finally arrived. But at the same time, thank you so much, Police Football Club, and we appreciate the contribution Police Football Club has made for the talent pool of this country as far as football is concerned. We also have apologies from Mumbale Heroes Football Club that they're not with us physically, but they are with us in spirit. We will proceed with the next item on the agenda, and that's approval of minutes. Suspension or expulsion of a member. CEO.
President, we do not have any case in this regard.
Item number 10, approval of minutes of the proceeding General Assembly. CEO.
Mr. President, we submitted the minutes and delivered them to the delegates a month ago. We requested that if there are any reactions, be submitted back to the Secretariat, and we received quite a few. If you go on page 6 of the minutes, there is a serious correction that has to be done in the subtopic of the declaration of the General Assembly being convened and composed in compliance with the statutes. Item 1.5. In the minutes, it states that Mr. Amin Bosa moved the motion to confirm and declare the Assembly that it was convened in compliance. We were corrected that it was actually not Mr. Amin Bosa, it was Mr. Latif Mafuko. So please correct that. Also again, on the same item, in 1.6, it is stated that Mr. Ayub Khalifa from the Schools Football Association is among the people who seconded the motion. The correction is, it was Mr. Anyao Frank from the Uganda Coaches Association, not how it has been stated. And then also there is a correction, again, for the name of one of the delegates. On page 2, names number 6, Mr. Walakira Andrew. It is stated Mukasa, but the correct name is Mukisa. So, Mr. President, arising out of those corrections, there was also a request for a reaction, but I think you have already addressed the reaction, because one of the members, Mr. Mukisa, wanted to know about how the sports law handles the issue of community clubs. So having mentioned that, Mr. President and dear delegates, the General Assembly had selected the minute checkers, Mr. Mutaka Seka from Western Region, Mr. Sekabira Michael from Buganda, and Mr. Tiang Tom Peter from Northern Region Football Association. Mr. President, we confirm that these members cross-checked the minutes, they submitted the corrections, and they informed us that they are ready to be approved by the General Assembly. So, Mr. President, Mr. Seka Mutaka is present, and I think is ready to move the motion.
Mr. Mutaka Seka, Chairman, Western Region Football Association, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. As addressed by the CEO, the minutes were, the mistakes were corrected, and there were some typing errors. And in May, we are invited at Fufa House, as stated by the General Secretary, by the CEO. We read through the minutes, and we hereby confirm that the minutes typed in this convocation reflects a true record that was a true record of the 99th AGM Fufa Assembly 2023 in Moroto. Therefore, Mr. President, allow me to ask this Congress to join me. We confirm the minutes recorded by the CEO. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Can we have Mr. Sekabira from Buganda? If what Mr. Muteka is saying is correct.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'm here to confirm that all was said by Mutaka Seka from Western Region.
Buganda region. From Western Region.
From Western Region was correct. Thank you.
Mr. Tiang Tom Peter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Mr. Tiong Tom Peter, Delegate Northern Region. I'm here to confirm to the House that we checked the minute as my colleague stated, and it was a true record of the General Assembly in Moroto. Thank you. I beg the honorable members to move on the motion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which we moved an amendment to be a discussion about the football, and it will begin with a video by Mr. Mugisha about the projects, what we are doing with the projects. Let us have the video, Mr. Hussein and team.
Ladies and gentlemen, My name is Justus Mugisha. I'm the first Vice President of Fufa, but I'm here as the Chairman of Infrastructure, Facilities and Projects Committee of Fufa. I'm here to give a report on infrastructure, facilities and projects that are being undertaken on behalf of football in this country. Currently, we are undertaking 3 types of projects. FIFA-funded projects. I will first report on the Kadeva project. Here on the Kadeva project, we are now on phase 3. And this phase 3, the project is approved and commissioned for works. FIFA 3.0 project is ongoing and will provide artificial turf, pavilion, and 2 more dressing rooms for the facility to qualify as Category 4 stadium for CAF and FIFA matches. The project status changed from training center to a 20,000-seater stadium, so now we shall be having a mini stadium. The artificial turf for Kadeva is its own project and will be undertaken after AFCON 2027. This is because the AFCON 2027, we are going to use Kadeva as a training venue, and the training venue must have grass, so we shall first and foremost provide grass, and this will be through the government finances. Now, I'm glad to inform you that resources for this phase are available and they have already been committed by FIFA. The government of Uganda, under AFCON 2027 project, will provide the construction of the playing natural turf, perimeter fence for both internal and external, floodlights extension, installation, dressing room completion, and bus parking spaces. Now, the other project I would like to report on is Rugazi. Rugazi project was approved for 3.0 funding from FIFA. Resources will be provided on condition that Kadeva is in usable state. The project department continues to monitor and protect the facility from the encounters. The other project I would like to report on is Mutesa Royal Futuso Arena. The project was approved for undertaking by FIFA under FP 3.0. Like Rugazi, this facility will commence once the Kadeva project is under usable conditions. We also have another project, but this time which is going to take place. That is the FIFA Club Professionalization and Management Project. The project is aimed to enhance the professionalism and management capabilities of FIFA Premier League clubs through the capacity building project. As you know, we acquired land from the Rujumba family. First, it was 10 acres. We also acquired another 10 acres, and I'm glad to inform you that it is on this land that was acquired by FIFA that the Hoima facility that is going to host AFCON in 2027, that is being constructed by the government of the Republic of Uganda, is going to be built, is being built actually. Little progress has been made in acquisition of land in different regions, even where we had reached the last stages of acquisition. This was put to a halt, and this was because in order to enter any partnership with the local government, the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda must first give a nod. We have seen members of FUFA coming up and funding projects of their own for development of football in this country. I would like first to say congratulations to Chitara Football Club. We also have another stadium in Buganda, which we call Rugazi Green Stadium. The St. Mary's Stende Stadium, which was put in place by Vipers FC. Recently also, together with the Minister of Education and Sports, we have also been able to inspect another upcoming stadium in the Entebbe region, that is the Denver Godwin Stadium. This stadium, once completed, can also host actually AFCON, if it can be worked on very fast. The schools, I want to congratulate Bukedia Comprehensive School, which put up a stadium, which is about 7,000 seater capacity. In addition to that, I would also want to congratulate Amus College. We also have Standard High School Zana, which also recently put up a stadium in Ndeje. This stadium has already hosted Fufa games. The Trans-Renos University has also put up a beach soccer pitch. I would like also to congratulate the owners and the directors of the Kasanje Bamboo Gardens, who are also putting up a world-class beach soccer stadium that can even host AFCON. We must also thank our government, the government of the Republic of Uganda, through National Council of Sports. I'm glad to inform you that in a partnership with Fufa, once we want to host AFCON and also CHAN, this one has come along with a lot of development projects as far as football is concerned. We have to congratulate you, and especially the government of the Republic of Uganda, for completing Nambole. We are no longer playing outside Uganda. These days now we play at home, but also Nambole Stadium came along with another pitch, which is outside, which is also going to be used in the hosting of AFCON and also CHAN. All these are going to be constructed using government funds. We thank the government for this offer. I want to end by saying that we are requesting for your maximum support, and we thank the government and the leadership of Fufa and FIFA for what they have provided. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mugisha. Thank you so much, everybody who has made a contribution to ensure that we are improving on the infrastructure landscape in the country. From where we are coming from, it was very, very terrible. But we believe in the next 5 years, I want to assure members as the Federation, we are still engaging with the government to ensure that we have a mini facility in 15 different towns of Uganda. And that is Arua, Gulu, and Akibu. As we are all aware, there is already money that has been put aside to put up the Akibwa Stadium in Lira. But then Soroti, Mbale, Tororo, Jinja, Lugazi, Masaka, Mbarara, Ntungamo, Kabale, Kasese, and Fort Potro. Already Hoima is taken care of, and Masindi is taken care of, because one of the training facilities for the stadium in Hoima will be Masindi Stadium. That will also be improved. And we are looking for basic things to start with, if we can get the proper playing surface, so that football can be played in a proper environment. Changing rooms, internal perimeter and external perimeter, and then lights, where we can get artificial surfaces. That would even be better, such that the volume of football that can be played can be increased. Our challenge is infrastructure. We believe we can do everything else, but infrastructure needs a lot of money, and everybody should congratulate and thank whoever is investing in infrastructure, whether private sector, whether government, whether schools, whoever it is, because this infrastructure is for us as Ugandans, and we'll definitely get a lot of talent from there. Before we have a discussion, I'm sure some people would want to make a few submissions, and I will allow a few people to speak on this. Let us have a presentation from the development department. They have some few issues to present for the consumption of the General Assembly. Let's have the Development Department of Fufa.
Mr. President, the distinguished guests on the high table, Executive Committee, honorable delegates of the Augusta Assembly and the House at large, ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to explain a few projects coming under the Fufa Technical Master Plan. Mr. President, the Technical Master Plan is our strategy as Fufa to deliver football on the field. Of course, in complement to governance and business endeavors. In 2013, Mr. President, when you had just assumed office, there was a lot of things that came in and we've achieved a number of milestones. The national team qualified back to AFCON 2 times. The national youth team's qualification, the epitome was under 20 qualifying to World Cup in 2021 in Mauritania, if that edition was not cancelled because of COVID. The women national team qualification back to AFCON, performance of under 17 boys and girls national teams, performance of the beach soccer national team qualifying to AFCON 2 times, coach education programs. By then we had about 30 coaches with CAFC. As we speak now, over 5,000 coaches with high-level licenses in CAF. Number of competitions raised. We run like 18 competitions every year. Growing futsal game from grassroots or from zero. All these are some of the achievements. But again, Mr. President, in line with our vision to be #1 football nation in Africa on and off the field, your administration and executive decided that we need to do something extra in the area of sport, which led to the birth of the Technical Master Plan. Those achievements that came through were appreciated, but said we need to move forward. So the Technical Master Plan with the following mission: to install mass football and create high-performance culture for elite performers. To install a universal playing style for Ugandan national team and clubs, producing entertainment and purposeful football. And these statements are being realized or will be realized with projects that are enshrined in the Technical Master Plan. To install Ugandan football players in the world of topmost leagues. Now, Mr. President, the Technical Master Plan came in 2023. It was a very, very right time when in 2021, FIFA had done an analysis on how we grow talent, how we nurture talent on Uganda. What caused this? When the Chief of Global Football Development, Arsene Wenger, took office, there was observation of global inequality in terms of competitiveness. Football on the field. 22 editions of FIFA World Cup. Maybe when he entered office, it was like 21. But out of those, until now, only countries in South America and Europe have won the World Cup. The best as Africa we've done was Morocco, reaching semi-finals in the recent World Cup. So this disparity was studied, and the Global Football Development Department in FIFA decided to do an analysis on each and every country. As FIFA, we took part in this, and a global report was produced, and a country report, which is indicated here, the cover page on the screen, was produced, which was observing disparities we had in talent development and advising FIFA to do the best practices. That's why I said it came in the right time when, as Fufa, we are also sitting down to produce the technical master plan. Therefore, a number of FIFA recommendations were adopted in the technical master plan. And this analysis also gave birth to FIFA talent development schemes, where FIFA is offering us technical expertise in our projects, funding, and education. Mr. President, I'm one of the pioneers of FIFA Technical Leadership Diploma that is going to end in December. It started last year in Rio de Janeiro. It will end in Zurich. So this kind of support in education, funds, and technical expertise are part of the TDS. Now, the technical plan has 4 pillars, which you always, Mr. President, explained in the journey of a football player. Mass football, because everyone starts playing football for mass. Schools, academies, youth tournaments, where beach soccer and futsal is part of mass football. And here, the technical master plan aims to reach every homestead with mass football, giving opportunity boys and girls to play football. Of course, activities like Talent ID, I will explain a little bit, are coming in when we have mass football. Projects like FIFA Football for Schools are in there. Elite football, which you'll see us going back going to the World Cup, is one of the areas which aim to produce high performers. Pro football to enhance technical structures in the club to ensure that our talent grow. And life after football, when our players retire, come back and serve the game. We took details under the TMP on the elite football because it's our road to World Cup. These are the pillars under elite football, about 8 of them, and these are high performance projects that we want to do as Fufa. Mr. President, we defined in the technical plan the pathway of a player for mass football. They will always be going to elite, which involve Fufa TDS regional centers, a project that is coming this year, private academies and club academies, then to pro football until a player, boys and girls, reach the national senior team, men or women. But also not forgetting scouting from diaspora. Now, this takes me to the Talent ID platform, that framework that we launched. Mr. President, you launched on Friday last week. This is a TDS program as well, because it came in the line of TDS. And, Mr. President, in the TMP, an illustration of how a talent will be grown was equated to a water tank system where water begins from a source, which source is the lake, and the lake will be mass football, where we need to put divers who are scouts, and the Talent ID framework that was launched is bringing the divers or the scouts who are going to pick talents in big numbers. They go through development. Of course, the higher you go, it becomes narrower, and this is a fact of life. You cannot start and all of you finish. Our Talent ID framework is based on 4 pillars. It creates scouting pathway, the pathway of scout, how they are going to be educated and how they work. Then it aims to give every talent a chance. Every district of Uganda will have a Fufa accredited scout. It is connecting well talent development, because after scouting, there will be programs where we put players in development. But most important, as recommended by FIFA, Mr. President, an ICT integration where we have a fresh, high-level developed online platform that will support Talent ID framework. Where are we going to scout from our Fufa organized competition, the 18 and more, and Fufa authorized competition. Those we do with our partners, schools, USSA, and all other partners. But also Fufa will organize every year 2 times scouting activities. Now, this is in brief the pathway of a scout. We have 3 levels. Grade 4, those will be district scouts and will be in every district. Grade 3, now those will be in the regional centers as well as regional academies. Then grade 2 will be in the pro clubs in the side of UPL, Fufa Women's Super League and Fufa Big League. On the epitome, we shall have the National Chief Scout. Mr. President, a few benefits were put out for scouts. We want to interest people to join scouting. They always carry a license of Fufa. They always get discount on Fufa courses, free entry on youth national team and the local matches in their areas, then free CPDs, continuous professional development. Mr. President, this is a platform, just a capture of the platform which we've explained to FIFA, the FIFA High Performance team, and they appreciated this platform a lot because they are seeing this kind of platform for the first time being done by an African country. Abundant player reports that will be put by scouts themselves. It automates and then tells us the top ranked talent that now we can follow quickly, boys and girls, but also it is linked to national football philosophy, a project which Fufa is also doing under TMP, which will define our style of playing football. What is coming up now for the regions? Now I turn to the honorable delegates and chairmen. Executive committee has approved and given us a go-ahead to do a fast scouting course in Injero. We have already started contacting chairmen to send us people from the region. We shall come to every region and do first scouting course every year. That will help us to achieve the number, making sure that in every district we have a scout. So when we come to your region, make sure every district has a person invited. Mr. President, when we explain this platform and the framework to FIFA High Performance team, they offered to send us an expert here to train the trainers of trainer, those who will teach scouts in Uganda. We thank FIFA for that support. Then next year we continue with scouting activities, including our team going to the region to look at talent that will be reported on the platform. Of course, he said this will be linked to national football philosophy. Other projects, as I conclude, Mr. President, coming up, football for schools, that's coming to the regions. Again, we request regional chairmen and GS to cooperate, as Mr. President said, to ensure primary schools get balls and also get the knowledge to ensure that they teach basics of football to the young population, boys and girls. The national football philosophy, the Ugandan way, now this is elite. The one in red is elite, the one in black is mass. This project is I think, 90% done. Very soon, with approval of executive, it will be passed. Player development curriculum, also a project where Fufa is introducing now a curriculum that will be followed by all academies in the country to ensure that there is uniform growth of talent. Also is a project almost 80%. With approval of executive, it will be put in place. Regional schools of excellence, now Fufa is coming to the regions. We will select a school and then we work with this school. The school will give us bursaries. Then we put their talented players in the region. Now these players, Fufa will put there a coach, assistant, goalkeeper coach, and the medical personnel, fully equipped with equipment to ensure that there is development of players. We analyzed and we found out that in Uganda, according to education system, about 79% of the time of the year, children are in school. And these are the boys and girls who want to scout. 260 days they are in school, so we are coming to schools and then put their technical team and equipment, then work with this to ensure that these boys and girls get more training time, something which has been lacking and something which FIFA recommended, that it creates a high performance environment and grows talent. Because FIFA says a boy in the top 1 to 20 country trains 5.3 times a week. That's like 5 days and 1 session individual. For a girl, 4.7. In Uganda, we are still doing very low, but we credit the various number of competitions in schools. So when it gets this kind of daily training that's coming with regional centers, we shall even develop more talents. I thank you very much. This is the presentation on football development. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Mwebe had forgotten that this is not a class to lecture, but I just left him to, this is the General Assembly, but we are proud of the work that you are doing and your team in the development department. I want to inform members that if yesterday you watched the matches between the delegates and the staff, we realized that the delegates are people who played football at some stage. You know, there was always a saying that people in the administration of football are not people who played football. But I think you saw the quality of the two teams, and you would tell those who played football and those who are starting to play football right now. So the number of people, as you saw on the pitch, who played football, whom we have absorbed into administration of football. And I want to thank those that after playing football have decided to have a go in the administration of football, especially in the General Assembly, in the executive, in the clubs, and everywhere. And I encourage those that haven't, that football is a wide space, it can accommodate everybody. Let's accommodate them, but let them also be accommodatable. It takes two. And I want to thank the clubs in the Uganda Premier League once again for employing very many former players. I'm very proud that many of our players at least have where to be found, unlike in the past, doing different things. And we continue creating. So these things of scouts we are talking about, I'm aware that the ex-internationals who are here, let us get involved and make sure that, because you have an added advantage, you will be trained on what to do, how to use the applications and all that, but you have an added advantage that having played football, definitely you see things a little bit better and differently. At this moment, I also want to say that in our effort to increase the number of women in the General Assembly, the decision we took in Ajumani, the men took a decision to reduce on their number and make sure there are more women in the game of football. It was a hard but deliberate decision. So yesterday when the dance was going on, Mr. Mugisha reminded me that, do you remember the decision we did in Ajumani? At least we have some women dancing here, but these men. So we used to have general assemblies that we are very, very masculine. I want to open up if there are any people who may have one or two things as a discussion to this particular presentation or projects. And I have a request for Mr. Stone Chambade that he would like to speak. But I'll give more, maximum 3 people, if at all. And once given an opportunity, let's go to the point. They have thanked everybody enough. We have thanked God. Let us just go straight to the point in the interest of time.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm not thanking. But mine is, Mr. President, this one comes from the Coaches Association. I know Fufa has really done a lot in training us. In the last assembly, as you gave me a chance, I said, give us the jobs. We've been given the jobs, and you have also given us jobs on the national team. But my request from the office is one. You have trained many women coaches, and most of them are now redundant. My request here is to ask the leaders of the clubs here to help us employ our women coaches, because they are there and they can do something. I know they may not be perfect, but if we don't start now, we may not have, the work you have done, Mr. President, is too much for women in football. I think we need to do that. We have already done something, but the majority are still there, and I pray that we do that. Secondly, Mr. President, I'd also to ask the club owners here to be patient a bit with the work of the coaches. Because one, the pressure is too much now. It's not that the coach is bad. It's only that the game has been elevated a bit. Now clubs are no longer, nobody is sure of who will take the points. So credit comes to you, Mr. President, when you took us for these courses, and now the game has come up. People fear. So sacking a coach is not an option. The only thing is patience, and then you try to do things right. So I ask the owners to be patient a bit with our coaches. And lastly, my point is also allow the coaches to play the young players, because there's a lot of fear and pressure. So the owners try to not to allow the coaches to play the young players, thinking they will cause them loss. But Mr. President, I would ask this House, the owners, to be patient a bit, because young players are the future of your teams. So patience with the coaches, allowing the young players, and Mr. President, asking them with the women coaches. Every team at least to have a woman coach on their teams. Thank you.
Mr. President, with all the respected dignitaries, as I was looking at the presentation of football development in Uganda, I was so much enthusiastic and encouraged. But unfortunately, there is one thing that made me to connect two of the items together, is the concern of our players, especially the younger ones, the influx into the Sudanese national team. I don't know, because I have some players also in my club. So I don't know if there are rules and regulations, maybe the discussions are there, maybe to be put forward in the future so that proper steps are taken. Otherwise, I have players who are crossing over and they write illegally, and they instructed them to come to Fufa, but in their own view, they have decided to cross over. I don't know if there are rules that we can really help, because we see there are very good talents for the future of our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have the microphone to
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Protocol observed. I'm Twala Yusuf from Northeast, Delegate Northeast. You have talked about pitches, and I want to remind us that in Northeast, particularly in the Kapchora district, we have a high altitude training center, which is almost complete, and we feel that place can also be utilized if it is checked and found that it is in position to be utilized. Not only that, our champion, Joshua Cheptegei, has also come up with a pitch which is also closer to that, and we feel, please, those are some of the pitches which we can, either national team or other teams can come there and check, and we will utilize them properly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let us have the chairman, Maroons.
Thank you, President, and your team. President, a presentation was made here on the projects that have been undertaken, and to was also indicated that there are private individuals and institutions which have taken up projects development in terms of football pitches. I just wanted to know whether Fufa has any kind of assistance they render to private individuals and institutions which are developing infrastructure, whether by way of technical, machinery, or any other means, such that the private developers will develop pitches that conform to the standards of football. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paulo Sali.
Thank you, Mr. President. All protocol observed. I am Paul Sali, the chairman of Uganda Players Association. My main concern is about players. All of us are here because of football, and football includes players. But we have a problem in players. Now the window has closed, and very many players were closed out, but not because of their wish, but because of the laws which we need to revise. Because when you say system, you talk of system and say that somebody who belongs to a club which is no longer existing, to go to that club and get a permission to change to another club, I think that is something which we need to revise and give liberty to players to play where they want. There is also another problem we are facing. You have done, I think, with this match fixing and others, but we have also a big problem with the CEOs. CEOs are signing for players without their consent, and they don't even allow them to look in the contracts. So I think that one also, you should work on it if we want to improve our football. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulo Sali. There is, the last one will be the chairman, Uganda Youth Football Association. And let us be very brief in the interest of time.
Thank you so much, President. I would like to thank the presentation that has been presented by Mr. Ali Mwebe and giving us an opportunity to discuss something about it. Dear President and the delegates here, I would like to give a wide view of the mass football that is happening around the country, but also trying to support the mass football in this country in all the 23 sub-regions that Uganda Youth is operating. Would also call upon this area all the region chairmen to embrace by scaling down the under-15 league such that it continues to support the mass football development. But also, President, I would like also to assure you that in all areas of this country, we have ex-players, we have retired coaches, we have ex-internationals in different regions of this country. For us to achieve more onto the area of mass football, we would call extra attention onto voluntary coaching. For coaches to take on the mandate that can support youth careers, youth football players. And I hope in Mwebe's technical master plan, this is considered in a wider view to engage ex-players, to engage ex-coaches that are retired, to work closely with academies in different regions, with regional chairpersons to support mass football in all those areas. So, dear, allow me submit onto this, and that will also support the talent identification program, because this is wider, but it also needs high-level attention, meaning we need the professional coaches, we need players that have worked in football to support the young talent to grow as big as it's supposed to grow, to support
at least the Fufa Technical Master Plan. Allow me submit, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. We have a proposal from one of the members, Hassan Kavuma from Buganda Regional Football Association. Let us get it once, we make some reactions, and then we'll...
Thank you, Mr. President, the delegates, and the invited guests. My name is Kavuma Hassan, a delegate from Buganda. I have a proposal I submitted to the Secretariat, and this is about the Fufa delegates team. In the interest of time, it has around like 4 or 5 pages, but I'm going to briefly try to summarize. Going forward, in line with the Federation of the Uganda Football Association, Fufa, which is to develop, promote, and protect the game of football in Uganda, the Fufa delegates team of men and women can fully be developed and managed to become one of the Fufa's biggest promotional brands. With the current status of the Fufa delegates team, men and women, which is only ceremonial, with only one single annual public appearance and no competition engagement, drew me to critically analyze how the dormant promotional giant brand can be awakened to fully benefit the delegates, in bracket participants, as well as the Fufa as an institution in relation to the promotion of the entity and its other activities. The urgency to have the delegates team of both men and women, which will fully put a mark to one of the institution objectives of having more numbers of women in the game of football. Thus, the need to address the existence and the future of Fufa delegates in relation to the sport. The governance of the team, as well as the business in which I took a closer scrutiny to how the team not only self-sustain itself, but it can only generate income while fitting into the general objective of Fufa.
What is your proposal?
The proposal was, Mr. President, was about putting the delegates team, to have the delegates team formalized. Otherwise, it has been informal, but we need to have it and have a budget. And I request the members that we formalize it and have a budget for it and have functions and.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, in the interest of time, it's a proposal received. Allow us as the executive to process and see if it is going to be implemented. Definitely will come back. But it's a good proposal, and I'm sure the Secretariat and the minutes have captured it, so we'll definitely discuss it. On the issue of assistance in infrastructure building, the truth is that as a federation, we do not have a big mass of support, but we have equipment, which we have been providing. We have some equipment we got from UEFA that works on pitches, very, very, very good equipment. And this is available and can be used on the different facilities. This equipment you may not get anywhere in the country, specifically designed for management of pitches. That we give out to the members. All they have to do is to transport the equipment and then bring it back. But in far as the financial mass of support the members on the issue of infrastructure, we may not have such a meaningful. But we are discussing with government. At all times we support our members by discussing with government to ensure that if there is a support, we can get at institutional level or even at regional level. Kapcholwa, thank you so much for the information. I'm sure the development department has taken it. And then also the issue of players, issues raised by Mr. Sali, they have been taken note of. we will ensure that we are able to deal with them. I also want to recognize that amidst us, we have Honorable Asman Basalirwa, who has joined us, Member of Parliament for Bugiri Municipality, Chairman, Parliamentary Sports Club. I'm sure Mr. Kavuma, the discussion you are raising, you better get some notes from him, because he has a similar arrangement on the other side of Parliament, and how the team is being used for outreach to connect Parliament to the communities. So you need to engage him. And he's also one of the celebrated footballers of the Parliamentary Football Club. And since we announced that after this event we are going to have a match between the Parliament of Uganda and the Presidency 11 composed of the ex-internationals, please don't leave without watching the skills of Mr. Asman Basari. But I'm his captain in that team. So at this moment, also allow me also to mention that it has been our policy, and we are proud that amongst the 88 delegates we have, we also have people who played football at a very high level, and I always take pride in recognizing them, because I encourage the rest of the players that played at a high level to be part of football in a way, either in coaching or in administration or in media, but support the game of football. Can we recognize Mr. Muhumuza Fred, who is a delegate in this General Assembly but played football at the highest level in this country, and is a coach at the moment as we speak. So he's working for the game and also in administration. We have Mr. Paulo Sali, who was somebody called him Onana, but he was the goalkeeper of the Uganda Cranes in the finals of 1978, which happens to be our highest mark. But he's a delegate, and he has been contributing. I think he walked out about the players' issues, and I think he's the right person to talk about players' issues. We have Mr. Stone Chambade, who is also a former player, now also a coach in administration. We are proud of getting off the pitch and you continue in administration. We have Mr. Sunday Moni, who was a player at KCC. You can see him now, but he was one time very fast and very swift with the swift left foot, but is now a delegate representing Kampala. We have Mr. Leti Mike. Leti Mike, I think he has walked out, but is a delegate from West Nile, who also played football at the highest level up to the national team. We also have Mr. Ochom Richard, who is a member of the executive committee. Yesterday, those who were on the pitch, I think you saw him. He was playing there. We have Mr. Sekabira Mike, also a delegate from Buganda region who played football at the highest level. We have Mr. Kaulu Abdu, who played football also at a very high level, is also owning a football club. We also have Mr. Tamale Fred, the delegate for players football, who was a joy to watch when he was still playing. And he scored the first goal in Mandela National Stadium. The first will never change. He will always be the only person who scored the first goal. The only problem that he scored it for the Rongo Club. We also have Mr. Dano Bote, who was a player of the match yesterday. Played also football at the highest level. And these are people who are in administration and are still playing football. We also have a number of people who have played football, who have administered football in other capacities. FIFA international referees. Rose is here. She was at the level of FIFA. We have Coach Video, who was a coach at the national team, Uganda Cranes level. who is also a delegate. I think he walked out. We have Mr. Amini Bosa, who is here, also in referee at the highest level. We have Mr. Kalema Roni, who is not here, but is a member of the executive committee, former FIFA referee. We have the president of the football association, myself, who was a player at Kinyara Football Club. We have Edgar Watson, who was the captain of the Uganda Cranes as a CEO. So we can go on and on. In the interest of time, can I stop there and proceed with the other business of the General Assembly? And that takes me to the next item on the agenda. And that is item number 11, the Chairman Board of Directors activities. And this item is basically to look at, it is still worded the way it's worded, but the objective is actually to look at the other entities, because beyond the one entity we have now, we have the Fufa Media Services Limited, a company which is owned by Fufa. We have also the Fufa Sportswear Limited, the one dealing in the merchandise. We have one also doing the hospitality, but I've been told that there is no presentation to make at this point, so we'll proceed to item number 12, and that's the consolidated and revised balance sheet. Mr. CEO, at this moment I'm going to invite the chairman of the Finance Committee, Mr. Aliga Rasul. I'm told it is on video, so in the interest of time, let us play the video. Mr. Rasul is the chairman of the Finance Committee.
The Minister of State for Education, the Chairman, National Council of Sports, the General Secretary, National Council of Sports, the Vice President of Fufa, the Fufa Executive Committee members, the honorable delegates, distinguished invited guests, the Fufa CEO, Fufa staff, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ariga Rasul, the chairman of Fufa Finance Committee. Honorable President, the income and expenditure financial statement for financial year 2023 was presented to the Finance Committee as at 31st December 2023 by the CEO for analysis. The committee submitted the financial statement to the Fufa Excom for further scrutiny and analysis. Honorable President, allow me to invite the Fufa CEO to present the income and the expenditure financial statements as at 31st December 2023 for approval by the honorable delegates. I beg to submit. The Honorable Fufa President,
CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, President. Thank you, President. And thank you, Chairman, Fufa Finance Committee. The request that has been put to me is of a technical nature, financial technical nature. And allow me, Mr. President, to inform you first that we received a reaction on this item agenda, where it was realized that the summary statement of the comprehensive income and expenditure page was missing in some of the convocation documents that were issued. So I'm going to invite the Finance Director at Fufa, Julian Namuganga, who will actually present the summary and also the entire financial statements. Allow me to play the video of the Finance Director at this moment, and then thereafter present back to you.
Our guest of honor, all invited guests, Fufa Executive Committee members, and all Fufa delegates. My name is Julian Namuganga Bosa, the Fufa Finance Director. You're all welcome to this 100th Fufa Ordinary General Assembly at Maya Nature Resort, hosted by Wakiso District Football Association in Buganda region. I'm here this moment to present the Fufa audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. The financial statements are made of two components: the Statement of Comprehensive Income and Expenditure and the Statement of Financial Position. The financial statements were prepared by the Finance Department in accordance with the General Acceptable Accounting Principles and the International Accounting Standards. They were audited by Kala Associates, certified public accountants, approved by the Fufa Finance Standing Committee and the Fufa Executive Committee. Shown here is the Statement of Comprehensive Income and Expenditure. The period under review is the financial year 2023. The amounts are in billions of Ugandan shillings. The financial year 2022 is shown here for purposes of comparison. On the incomes, we received 4.2 billion from FIFA, representing a decline from the previous period of close to 3.5 billion. This was due to the expiration of the FIFA project cycle at the end of 2022, implying that no funding was coming in from FIFA to the projects, yet projects are a big component of the FIFA funds. However, the cycle resumed in 2023 and the project funds are starting to come in. The government funding was at 20.7 billion, growing from 8.3 billion in the previous period. This was because the government funding for the prior year cut across the period before and after the increment in government funding to all sports federations and associations. However, some of the prior year quota releases were received in the current year, thus the 20 billion instead of the 17 billion, which is the annual allocation to Fufa. The CAF grant was at 2.7 billion from 5.2 billion from the prior year. This was due to the reduction of the TV rights and in the period under review. We received 3.3 billion from SECAFA, and this was mostly funding to host SECAFA competitions. The increment is attributed to hosting more SECAFA competitions than the previous year. From the local partners, we received 6.5 billion, an increment of close to 2.5 billion from the previous period. This was mostly due to the new partnerships with MTN and Bet Power. Other incomes, the last category here was at 576 million, slightly higher from the previous period. Other incomes mainly comprise the registrations, merchandise, gate collections, and fines. The total income realized was 38.3 billion, representing a growth from 2022 of 10.1 billion. And here is the graphical presentation of the performance as explained above, depicting the amounts for each category, that is the source of funds. The blue bars represent the current year, while the gray represent the prior year. For the expenditure fluctuates in line with the incomes, since the incomes are tagged to specific activities as per the funding guidelines and sponsorship agreements. We spent 3.3 billion on expenditures in line with the FIFA funds. Government funding, our expenditure was at 20.7 billion. CAF grant, 2.7 billion. SECAFA grant, 3.3 billion. Expenditure from sponsorship and partnerships was at 7.1 billion. Our total expenditure stood at 37, giving us a surplus of 718,944,280. This was mostly attributable to funds from FIFA towards the talent development search and women football development programs that had not yet been fully utilized. I'll go on to the statement of financial position, the balance sheet, as earlier mentioned. Our non-current assets were 10,891 million. The current assets were 3,495 million. Total assets, 14,386 million. There is a fall from the previous period, and this is due to the recovery of some of the receivables that we had in the previous period. The reserves, we had a level of retained reserves of 306 million, a negative position. The revaluation reserves were at 3,696 million. The grants that are capital were at 5,821 million. Total equity and non-current liabilities were 9,211 million. Our current liabilities were 5,175 million. Total equity and liabilities, 14,386 million. The non-current assets comprise property, equipment, and intangibles. The current assets, cash and cash equivalent, as well as the receivables. Equity and non-current liabilities, we have the retained reserves, revaluation reserves, and the capital grants. The current liabilities are the... Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Rasul Ariga, Edgar Watson, and Julian Namuganga, the Finance Director. And normally we send these documents to you, the delegates, in due time, such that if you have any explanations you want, you write back. CEO, do we have any?
Was about not having the summary, which has already...
The audited books of accounts. Mr. Ronnie Mutevi.
Summary, which has already...
The audited books of accounts. Mr. Ronnie Mutevi, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair, and members and delegates. First of all, to appreciate the executive for the report, and also for the fact that we are still able to receive 10 billion from government, which from your report is an increment from the prior year. So we thank you for engagement, but as Shakespeare says, we want more. My quick comment is on the different businesses that Fufa manages or owns, Fufa Media Services, merchandise and all. I wanted to be guided whether, because these businesses have a corporate form on their own, I would like to know if we shouldn't see their performance as units, because these businesses have assets, they have staff, they bring revenue. I thought that the delegates would be interested in seeing how each of them is performing and whether it is in line with the bigger objective. My last comment is on the balance sheet, and I want to thank the presenter for presenting very well. I'll just comment on the position of the Fufa. When I look at our receivables and cash, it appears that we are not able to collect enough money to pay the creditors in form of the bank and other payables who are the suppliers and so on. I would like to know how we are managing, because this misalignment can potentially create a lot of stress to the Federation. I thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for the call. And to start with, there is an alignment we need to make. The financial years of the entities to be in alignment with the financial year of the Federation. At the moment, they are not in line. I think that's something that the executive has asked the Secretariat to make sure that we support these institutions. Right now, there is a bit of an overlap as of when these entities are supposed to be reporting. Secondly, they are also very younger entities, and at the moment, some of the services are still in-housed at Fufa. For example, you'll find that the same resources we have at Fufa in terms of the finance personnel are still supporting these institutions. I think in the area of growth, and I want to request the members of the General Assembly that at the next General Assembly, there should be comprehensive reports on how these are doing, and their financials and governance reports to be properly reported. If the General Assembly allows, we believe that in the next General Assembly this should be done in the interest of transparency and the owners of these institutions to understand what is going on. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for that contribution. On the issue of the receivables versus the payables, I think I'll give this to the Finance Department to explain. I don't know that Mr. Samba Kika is around, who happens to be our compliance manager, or Julian, whoever is ready can be able to explain this.
Thank you, Mr. President, and members of the Assembly. In response to that inquiry, we know that financial statements are prepared on a historical basis. So whereas the numbers we see there are as 31st December 2023, and then the comparatives are 2022, it's a cutoff really in terms of the timing. So sometimes you find that probably there are unpaid liabilities, which we see as the payables at the time that we close the financial year. When you look at the cash balances, it means that we are not out of cash, as a matter of fact, but the timing of the payments may not necessarily fall with the year end. Likewise, the receivables are monies that are due to us, where, for example, if there are contracts with sponsors, they're supposed to pay within certain timelines. But again, sometimes we may close the year before these payments come through, so they'll be appearing as receivables. But in terms of the risk, in terms of the ability to continue, the auditors always look at this, and as you hear from the auditor's report, the going concern issues would have been raised if there are any concerns that we may not be able to meet our obligations. But following the audit, where we shall have the report on these financials presented, we'll get that assurance in the respect. So members should be comfortable that Fufa is a viable entity, and those numbers are a question of timing, because in financial reporting, it's basically historical reporting and not what they call the market value or realizable value of the business, as it were. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And at this note, in addition to what Ronnie asked, in addition to what Sam has responded, can we have the auditor's report so that we can proceed? Let's have the auditor's report.
The guest of honor, the invited guests, the Fufa Executive Committee members, and the Fufa delegates. My name is James Kayondo, representing Kala Associates, Certified Public Accountants. We are the appointed auditors of Fufa. I'm here to present the audit opinion on the financial statements of Fufa for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. Opinion. In our opinion, the financial statements of Fufa reflect a true and fair view position of Fufa as at 31st December 2023 and reflects the real, true, fair position of the statement of financial position, the cash flows, and the associated notice. The financial statements were audited in line with the auditing standards as well as the relevant accounting standards, and I would like to give an assurance that they indeed reflect a true and fair position of the entity for they are audited. Independent auditors report to the members of the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, Fufa. Management responsibility for the financial statements. The Executive Committee is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards. This responsibility includes designing, implementing, and maintaining internal controls relevant to the preparation and fair presentation of financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, selecting and applying appropriate accounting policies, and making accounting estimates that are reasonable in the circumstances. I move on to auditors' responsibilities. Our responsibility is to express an opinion on these financial statements based on our audit. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Those standards require that we comply with ethical requirements and plan and perform the audit to obtain whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements. An audit involves performing procedures to obtain audit evidence about the amounts and disclosure in the financial statements. The procedures selected depend on the auditor's judgment, including the assessment of the risks of material misstatements of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error. In making those risk assessments, the auditor considers internal controls relevant to the entity's presentation and fair presentation of the financial statements in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the entity's internal control. An audit also includes evaluating the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates made by management, as well as evaluating the overall presentation of the financial statements. We believe that the audit evidence we obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our audit opinion. We also noted that there was more or improved resource allocation, especially to activities which make up the core business of Fufa. We also noted that management or governance performed their duties, and this is evidenced by the minutes which were provided to us. They several times sat in their strategic meetings, in the board meetings, and made decisions which were properly minuted. And many of these were in line with the strategic plan of Fufa. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much. We then need a motion to approve. We need a motion to approve the financial statements of the year ending 31st December 2023. Can we have Mr. Latif Mafuko from Eastern Region? The microphone.
By the name is Mafuko Latif, representing Eastern Region. Having listening from auditor, finance director, I wish to propose that financial statement be approved, if seconded.
Can we have the second of the motion? Chairman Nayevale from Chitara Regional Football Association.
Mr. President and members, I'm Nayevale James, Chitara Region. I second the motion.
And procedure, let's have the seconder of the motion. Let's have Kavuma Hassan from Buganda.
Thank you, Mr. President. Kavuma Hassan is my name. I second the motion.
Thank you very much. Let us move the next item on the agenda, and that's approval of the estimates for the next financial year, 2025, and I'll call the Chairman Finance Committee, Mr. Ariga Rasul.
President, the Honorable Minister for State for Education, the Chairman National Council of Sports, the General Secretary National Council of Sports, the Vice President of Fufa, the Honorable Executive Committee members, the Honorable Delegates, distinguished invited guests, the Fufa CEO, Fufa staff, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ariga Rasul, the Fufa Finance Committee Chair. Honorable President, the budget for financial year 2025 was drafted, analyzed, and recorded by the Fufa Finance Committee, focusing on delivering the Fufa Technical Master Plan, the Kadiba Stadium, the national teams, stakeholders, and focus on the governance structures worth 41 billion shillings. The Finance Committee presented the income and expenditure estimates to the Fufa Executive Committee for further scrutiny. Honorable President, allow me humbly invite the Fufa CEO to present the income and expenditure estimates for financial year 2025 to the honorable delegates for discussion and approval. I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear delegates, as initially mentioned, this is a matter of financial technical matters, and I would request that the Finance Director presents through the video again.
Ladies and gentlemen, here I am once again, but this time to present the budget proposals for the financial year 2025. The Fufa President's 4-year manifesto, the hat-trick, that is the governance, the sport, and the business formed the basis for these budget proposals. The focus is on delivering the technical master plan, completion of Kadiba Stadium, national team competitions, and enhancing the governance structures. The income side of the projections, the FIFA grant is projected at 10.6 billion, the CAF grant at 2.4 billion, Government of Uganda at 17 billion, which is the annual allocation, partnerships and sponsorships at 8.6 billion, others in form of registrations, gate collections, merchandise at 2.2 billion. Total projection is at 41.1 billion. Here is the graphical presentation of the projections. The biggest expectation is from the government of Uganda, followed by FIFA, sponsorships, CAF, and others. The expenditure estimates are aligned with the department activities. Governance is projected to be at 1.7 billion, administration at 4.9 billion, football development at 1.7 billion, competitions at 4.5 billion, national teams at 6.9 billion. The national teams is expected to take up the biggest chunk of the budget. Marketing and communications at 2.2 billion, hardware, that's the infrastructure, the equipment, is at 7.1 billion. Stakeholders at 2.4 billion. Total expenditure estimates at 41.1 billion. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's our game, it's our country.
Thank you very much, and I will ask the CEO if we received any comments about the budget.
Dear delegates and Mr. President, this time around we did not receive any reaction against the budget.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody with any comment or clarification required as far as the budget is concerned? Thank you so much. Can we have a motion for the approval of the budget for the next financial year? Mr. Isam Siwa, the Chairman, Eastern Region Football Association.
Thank you, Mr. President. Having heard from the finance officers and having gone through the figures, I move a motion that the budget be approved if seconded. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we have Mr. Mansour Kabugo from the Uganda Youth Football Association, and then Joan from West Nile Regional Football Association.
Mansour Kabugo from UIFA. I second to approve the budget.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm Joan Gramia from West Nile. Do rise up to second the motion moved for budget approval for next financial year. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Dear delegates, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, and that is appointment of auditors.
Dear delegates, the Fufa Executive Committee, the 31st EXCO meeting, proposes that the General Assembly appoints Carl Associates, certified public accountants, to do the audit of the Fufa financial statements for the next 2 years, 2025-2026.
We have the proposal from the Executive Committee, and we need a motion for approval in case that is the position of the General Assembly. Mr. Kalanda Ismail. And then...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Depending on the relationship we've had with Carl for some time, and we've not had any issues with them, I propose that Carl should be proposed to be the auditors of Fufa for next financial year.
Mr. Varente, the Chairman, Bull Football Club.
Thank you, Mr. President. I second the motion to keep Carl as our auditors.
And Mr. Chairman Ade from West Nile.
Moade Frederick Isaac. I second the motion.
Thank you so much. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, admission of members. CEO.
Dear delegates, we received 3 applications for the membership of Fufa. For the 3 clubs that we are promoted to the first division, we have already looked into the application, and the teams here below are ready with all the requirements according to the statutes to be admitted to the Fufa membership. The clubs are Police FC, Lugazi FC, Mbale Heroes FC, and they've actually received the club license to participate in the first division.
Thank you so much. Is there any objection to admission of the 3 clubs into the membership, having complied with the club licensing process? As you are aware, the UPL clubs are direct members, so every year when we have relegation and promotion, we have to undergo through this process. Is there an objection? Let us take it as a unanimous decision that the members are admitted to the membership and enjoy full rights. Right now they were here, but they did not have rights. So police might have been dancing, but they did not have full rights to vote for any matter. But I think from here, they can participate into enjoying all their rights as members of Fufa. Item number 17 on the agenda is a vote on the proposal of the amendments of the statutes and electoral code. And in the convocation, you received proposals for the amendment of the statutes. And I don't know, see if you received any correspondence, if there are any clarifications. Please confirm to the General Assembly what you have.
Mr. President, we received a reaction, especially about a definition of the term official. But in the presentation that, if allowed, our legal manager has already captured the response that was received from Mr. Hassan Kavuma.
Thank you so much. I will ask Mr. Lukambi Dennis.
IT, please, we need the...
Let us go to particularly the areas that have been raised.
We summarized the proposed amendments for transparency and for purposes of this General Assembly. We had only 2 proposals to the Fufa statute as per the convocation. Article 23, paragraph 7, the only proposal is to delete the entire article. Then Article 36, the executive, as per the convocation, to be given powers to amend the Fufa budget up to more than 30%. Then there was also introduction of the 6th Division League as per the proposal of the executive, and also the same as Article 78, paragraph 7, if you have the statute. And then this was just a clerical issue. If this assembly approves the amendments, then that will be captured immediately from this General Assembly. Those are the proposals as per the first statute that we have. And we did not receive any recommendation or approval on that. So I beg to close, and then we go to the Fufa electoral code.
The proposals of the electoral code amendments.
Article 9, paragraph 1 of the Fufa Electoral Code had only 2 definitions of who is an official as far as the electoral process of Fufa is concerned. And from the guidance we received from Mr. Kavuma Hassan, we took time to elaborate further on the proposed amendments as far as that who is an official, if at all we are going into elections. So those 8 areas were summarized to capture all the possible individuals who are supposed to participate in that process. It's the same, but the language. It was the way the code is and in the convocation was limiting. It was closing a lot of individuals out, but as far as this is concerned, it's open. And the one that was approved reduced the number of years for executive and for president. If you recall, from 10 years to 4 years, and then from 8 years up to 3 years. Those are the only proposed amendments that were captured in the convocation for purposes of this assembly, for purposes of brevity. These are also clericals. They don't need any explanation. It was a typing error, and also to capture the elements that the code, when the code came into existence, and if approved by this assembly, still it will be captured on record. Thank you for having listened to me.
Thank you very much. If any discussion is required, we will take it. If not, we'll go into the process of amending statutes. As you are aware, we need to have the following statutory provisions for amendment of statutes. And this is, we need to have quorum, which must be 50 plus 1 in attendance, and then we need 3/4 to approve. So our scrutineers, we are going to ask you to stand up and help us with the counting of the votes. This one has to be done by counting of votes. And the scrutineers, who are the scrutineers? People might have forgotten that we appointed as scrutineers. Also, we need 3/4 of those in attendance. So, CEO, what numbers do we have? Can we get the numbers correct? Attendance.
Mr. President, I want to get the update, but by the time we reached item agenda, we finished item agenda number 7, we had 69 delegates present. But maybe in a few minutes I'll get the update.
Can we have the scrutineers in front? Members, we need the scrutineers in front and we do the counting. So 75 or 69? 75 or 69? We have the 3 people in front of us, and I will pose the question. Are you ready? I've been advised that we need to do, now that police has been included as a voter, so we need to do the count. But only delegates. And we will do a simple one, 1, 2, 3, starting from Mr. Walakira. 1, you just mention a number and then we get that very quick. Just say 1 and then the next one. Mr. Walakira, can you start? Just say 1 and we go. You don't have to stand up, time. Don't stand up, members. Seven. He says it's 7 first. Then let's go to Deo now. Is quorum about 50 plus 1%? So I'm going to pose the question. Those against the amendment of the statutes, please put up your hand for the count. We can record that. Those abstaining, please put up your hands. And then those in support of the statutes, please, the amendments, please put up your hands. Please let us do the count, everybody with a zone, and then okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. According to the scrutineers, 71. So the two did not either say no or abstain. None of the three. Thank you so much. Let us move to the next item on the agenda. And that's discussion. Item agenda number 18 has discussion on proposal submitted by EXCO. Item 19, dismissal of a person, a body. Item 20, election of a president, vice president, EXCO. Item 21, election of judicial bodies. Item 22, election of members of the Audit and Compliance Committee. And I've been informed by the CEO that they are all not applicable in this particular General Assembly. So that will take me to item 23. And that's election of members of the Electoral Committee. CEO. As the CEO is cross-checking on the records, we'll move to the next item on the agenda in the interest of time, members. And that's appointment of directors, not applicable. But I'll be asking for the video as the CEO organizes himself on the list of the Electoral Committee, that the video for the regional tours that we did. Mr. Hussein, please.
The president has come to the grassroots to hear from the people running football at the grassroots. I'm also very happy in the way he was conducting his meetings, because if you say something and someone raises an objection, he gives an opportunity for that person to be heard. I'm happy that today everybody who has attended this meeting is a winner.
I'm very, very excited because my people from Northeast, Maso, Inteso, Karamoja, and Sebei were waiting for this moment to speak to the president. football is first of all managed by people down. So for him to come and listen from them, you'll first of all get the real raw information from the people from down. So understanding the challenges of the game and see how to rectify it. Like he has said, that after moving all the regions and listening from the people, the executive committee will sit and ratify and see what can be done. What I'm happy with is that the proposal that I've made is that once the districts have got and brought to the region, the chairperson will be inviting the executive committee and try to present the document that is from the districts to the executive.
We've seen him prepare their issues with Fufa's strategic plan of them trying to resolve football from the grassroots. They're good enough. The president briefed us and told us he's going to engage the management of KCCA and management of the Ministry of Education and Sports.
His visit has impacted a lot in our district. If our issues are worked on, we are going to be among the best districts.